All right, we are live. Welcome to another week of the Hometown Socials Town Hall, where we discuss internet marketing and what we learned this week and what we have going on in our day to day. My name is Justin. I'm the founder of Hometown Social, and I'm joined today by my co host, Katie, who is also my partner in crime for a long time, fellow family member, and like I said, business partner, and she runs the e-commerce marketplace management side of our business. So uh, definitely excited to have her here today and listen to some of her input because she knows what she's talking about. So welcome, Katie.
Hey guys, thanks for joining. Glad to be here. Excited for another week.
We are calling in from Ohio today, and we are all excited for the cold weather and the pumpkin show. Some of the largest pumpkins in the world will be down here in this small town, so we're excited to go out there and look at them. About all you can really do with it other than eat all of the different pumpkin festives. So, got a good show for you guys today, and looking forward to jumping into some of the Fast Five and what we learned this week, and then getting into some Q&A. So, Katie, if you want to go ahead and kick off the Fast Five today, that would be great. We're all waiting.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Fast Five today pertains to the particular situation we're in right now. We're on the road, so I have Fast Five tips for working while traveling. Number one, create your desk setup. I did not do that this time, but I kind of made out okay. I think for next time, I'll probably have to figure out something a little bit more concrete since we come here routinely. But getting some place where you can call home base to kind of sit down and clock in is really all you need. Right now, I'm working on the large U-shaped couch in my mother's living room. It's working, not a big deal. Probably best to have something with a second monitor if you usually need one. I've been okay so far, though, so I think we're good. But number one is definitely creating your desk setup. Why? I will explain in point number two. Point number two is to make note of any missing necessities and try to get that figured out on day one or before if you can. So if you create your desk setup and realize you're missing, I don't know, sticky notes or pins or an HDMI converter, something like that, you'll quickly realize that you need to go, to the store, ask somebody else if they've got something you might need. But that way, before you actually sit down to clock in for work in your first session, you've got everything you need, even if it's kind of makeshift or make do. But that way you're feeling prepared for the work week ahead or however long you're going to be there. Number three is to set realistic expectations about working hours and your schedule. When Justin and I come home, we try to make ourselves pretty flexible. We definitely still get a full work day in. He gets up crazy early to make it work usually. And I kind of try to figure out how to go by the fly and go, by the flow if I can. But we're trying to visit family and kind of take some time off. And so, being realistic about what your schedule is going to look like is really important because tip number four is to communicate that schedule to your clients and teammates. If you need time off, make sure you structure that realistically so you can get everything done that you want to do. Like I said, for us, Justin and I, it's to see some family while we're here and make the most of our time here. But if you're traveling to a cool place for the first time, you might want to go see it. So make sure you communicate to everyone that you're on the go and you'll be working from, this time to this time, checking emails from this time to this time, and just set realistic expectations so you can do the most with the time that you're there. The very last tip for this week is to focus on the top priorities only. If you have limited time in your schedule to work on things, make sure you're getting the most important stuff done. And if there's something that can be pushed, go ahead and push it. Communicate to the team, we're working on this, or your client, it'll be done a little bit later, or, assign it out to another team member if you can. But make sure you get the most important things done always. That way you can enjoy the time that you're away from your desk, to visit family or to go sightseeing, but you're still getting all the big stuff, checked off your list. So you're being productive and still enjoying your time. Those are my fast five while working and traveling at the same time.
Yeah, we're getting better at it. I think the internet here has been the biggest hurdle that's been crossed, and now that we have a good connection and we're able to actually load all of the tools that we use, that makes this a lot easier. So yeah, my Fast Five today is going to be the 5 reasons why Wix is perfect for your startup or small business. The first reason that Wix is perfect for your startup or small business is the all-in-one management hub that is a place for you to actually manipulate and coordinate and plan your creative, as well as all of your marketing. So the Management Hub actually connects right into the back end of your social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, and allows you to create a posting calendar there. And you can actually create and develop and follow templates that are right there in that Marketing Management Hub. And that is an all-in-one kind of a portal for your marketing needs, and you can really track the lead or the prospect all the way through from them seeing your posts, actually clicking on it, going to your landing page and or your lead capture, your lead, what's that called? Anyway, yeah, so that's number one. And number two of the 5 reasons why Wix is perfect for your startup or small business is the hundreds of easy to follow templates. So if you're in a position where you are short on resources and time, you're going to want to use the templates and just jump right into the ADI, which really gives you a menu bar on the left that is a step-by-step header, description, call to action, and all of those are super simple to fill out. There is no spacing or formatting that you have to deal with or monkey around with. So you just can go ahead and think about the content that you want and go ahead and copy another template that's been set up for a business that's in your niche. So you just start off with, for example, a landscaping company, and you find a website that's for landscaping companies. You have a service page, and you're just filling in the details that pertain to your business and to your market and to the services you provide. So hundreds, if not thousands, of easy to follow templates, and that ADI is very simple for a startup business that is a team of one. The next thing on the list is SEO checklist and Google Search Console API. So just because you create a site and put it on the internet does not mean that you're going to be found, even if people are searching directly for you. So you want to make sure that no matter where you decide to build, you at least get your website in the queue and scanned and processed through Google and up on the Search Console there. So getting that connected, Wix has a API connected to Google, and you can actually manage your Google My Business listing as well as your Search Console, and that's actually what they use for all their analytics. So it's actually really gained on the competition, and there's a lot of statistics out there that are showing that Wix is the best of the 4 or 5 top builders, and they're doing a pretty good job of trying to really focus on search rankings. And for that, number 4 on my list is automations and CRM. So Wix actually has, along with its management hub for marketing, the ability to set automations and to manage your clients through the prospect to partner or prospect to client journey. And the all-in-one management hub has an area where you can actually set up stages and steps along that process and the automations that go along with it. So onboarding and information post-purchase can all be set up pretty simply and then tracked through the analytics that are on the site. So everything can be in one place. And the last thing is that it's e-commerce capable and simple management of that sales process that I talked about. So the payment portal and hub are right there in that back end. So where you're setting up your emails to where you're actually creating social posts and scheduling them out and creating your Facebook ads or your Google ads or managing your Google My Business is right alongside of where the money comes in and is processed and sent to your account. So it's all right there. It's easy to see. Is it the best for every particular circumstance? Not even close, but it does scratch the itch that is the small business and solopreneur aspect of starting a business and getting all that internet marketing in one place. So that's the 5 reasons why Wix is perfect for your startup or small business.
Great job with that. I have a few questions to dive into if you're ready, unless you've got something else for the segment today.
I do not. If you are ready to ask me some questions, fire away.
Perfect. I might have some answers for some of these. It's something that I want to work on. So not only am I asking this based off of something that a viewer, reached out to us about last week, but I'm also curious myself. So I'm excited to get into these.
Was that the guy from California that reached out to you?
Yes, it was.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
Good,
he
good,
was.
good.
He's trying to get us to answer this for a couple weeks, so I figured we'd squeeze it in today.
Yeah, good. Go ahead.
Perfect. Douglas will be excited. First things first, do you make time to learn new things? If so, when do you do this and how do you make time for it?
It's a great question. Um, do I deliberately set out time in my schedule? I have in the past, and I currently no. I think that I'm very curious, so when I come across things that I get the opportunity to learn, I do learn them. I think in our line of work, there's a lot of times where we're honest with our client saying, "Hey, we haven't done this before, but we can go hire somebody, or you can let me fiddle with it for the weekend and figure it out." And that's probably one of my favorite parts about what we do. It's definitely top five in being able to look at a problem or something that's challenging, that's interesting to me and is going to be helpful to somebody. And hell, most of the time I get paid, for it too. So I really make sure though, when I'm trying to learn something new, that I set the stage for me to understand, hey, I might not be good at it right away. Where can I go for information? Is there a person that I know that I can talk to and ask questions? But I definitely take a swing at it first myself before I go and ask somebody to help me with something. I think that one opens the door for that person to actually help me rather than just tell me, and we can learn it. I can learn it through that process. So that's how I go about trying to learn something new, and how I don't really fit it into my schedule, but it likes to show up. What about do you have any thoughts on that topic and want to expand into that?
Yeah, I guess I kind of do the same thing. It feels like Amazon is changing so quickly that I have to subscribe to a few newsletter emails, and that really helps me. So that's something where someone else is doing, the research for it, and I get to just kind of tag along and make sure that I'm up to date with changes. But as far as just learning, some of the other skill sets that you can utilize, I'm trying to be more deliberate and set some time aside on Fridays to do that. I've been trying to do this for about a year now. I'm not sure that the way I'm doing it is working for me, so I'll have to figure out another way to be more deliberate. I do sign up for a lot of the free webinars that Amazon hosts. Not a lot of them are super helpful once you reach a certain threshold of information and skill set, but they're great for new sellers and new to business employees that might be, getting the opportunity to join them. So I recommend you do that if that's something that fits, within your niche. But I want to be a little bit more deliberate and just kind of go out of my comfort zone and spend a couple hours every Friday just working on me and working on our business and working on learning new things that can help, not only our business grow, but our clients' businesses grow. So if I figure out a master trick to actually doing what I say I'm going to do with this, I will let you know. But as of right now, I'm kind of struggling to do that. It's more as need basis, as Justin said. I do have.
So one of the major things to think about in that regard, now this is coming from a professor of ophthalmology and neurology at the Stanford University of Medicine. So they really talk about having intention when you go to learn something new, as well as curiosity, playfulness. You're going to learn something if you actually want to use it or want to learn it and you have utility for it. So really emphasizing to yourself before you sit down to do something of its importance and of its enjoyment. That's key. It's biologically essential. You can't do it without it. You learn things. Your brain uses the most energy out of any organ in your body, and that's it takes a lot of energy to process and learn something, and that's got to be intentional. So yeah, we'll jump into your next topic. We won't sit too long on that because neither one of us are versed in biology or
I do
neurology.
think curiosity helps a lot, though, and that's kind of how you pick and choose where you end up diving into things versus assigning something out. If it's something you're interested in or something you think will help you later, that selfishness to learn and understand, but also the curiosity, I think definitely helps you retain whatever it is that you
Mm-hmm.
learn or figure out a way to write it down and save it for later at least. So I think that's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Question number 2. This is all kind of related to learning things, so I thought it was helpful to kind of piece these together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, we already answered the second question. The second question was going to be, how much time do you set aside to learn new things? But I think we both kind of answered it's more on the fly. Number 3, though, I think is still useful. How do you then utilize the new things you've learned? I think originally this question was more geared towards if we took time aside to learn random things. But, if you learn something new, go ahead and share how you usually go about maybe giving it to your team or implementing it or talking about it if you do.
Yeah, I think it's when I'm looking at what I'm trying to learn in regards to managing our business and handling our creative partners and independent contractors that we use to fulfill services, it comes down to getting uncomfortable and stretching myself when it comes to the normal way that I've gone about things. So if I'm going to do something in a new way, I know it's going to be uncomfortable, meaning I'm going to be more clear, precise, or hold somebody accountable, or go into their work deeper than what normally I would do. Um, those are skills that I think speak to that question there, and how I go about implementing them is just trying to be honest with myself and slowing down in the moment and applying those. Some of the other harder skills like writing, which I'm working on pretty significantly, comes from reading and trying to articulate what I learned from that page as I finish the page. So that I think is carrying over into everything that I do now more involuntarily than the other one that I talked about, where I have to be really deliberate about applying it.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because you kind of mentioned the fact that you'll be a little bit uncomfortable at first when starting to get used to doing something new for the first time. And I think what I kind of do to combat that sometimes is to go the extra mile and learn a little bit more and do some practicing right from the beginning, because especially with the changes that happen on Amazon in particular, they don't give you a lot of time to figure out how to do it before they remove the old version of whatever it is that you were doing. So you've got to get in there, learn it, make sure you're good to go, because 2 weeks from now, they'll probably remove the ability to do it the way you used to. And so that is also a time pressure I didn't really think about, initially when answering some of the questions earlier.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that you kind of get thrown into the wolves there, but progress is painful sometimes. And, Amazon is definitely king when it comes to that stuff.
So that brings up a good point. Um, when you're, yeah, that's a good point. I lost my thought there. That's okay.
Yeah, anything that's e-commerce related or digital marketing related, tech related, things change really quickly. I'm sure it's going to happen a lot on Wix or Spotify, or I meant to say Shopify. I always do that. Anything that you're using, they've got to make it better and make it bigger, because more and more people are starting online businesses and creating websites, and they've got to figure out a way to make, the best of the best, and progress is going to still happen overnight. So, whatever happens, you've got to learn to adapt. If you're someone who likes to get stuck in your ways and you're resistant to change, I don't think this is a great market or industry for you to join, unless, you want to change things up a lot, because you'll have to be fast on your feet and learn things on the fly a lot of times. So I think those were great questions that we had from the audience. So I'm glad we were able to dive into them a little bit.
Yeah, those are topics that I think apply to everything I'm interested in and that we use on a day-to-day basis. So I enjoy getting to talk about those things.
Yeah. We might end a little early today if you're okay with that. Those are some of the wrap up questions that I've got from last week, and just because we're on the road, I didn't prepare anything else for today.
Yeah, let me look here, see if there's anything to ask directly, since um, I know that you asked me some questions. So let's see. What is one thing that we do every time that we come to Ohio that you really enjoy? Whether it's family, whether it's those mariachis, or what? I would love to know something, more intimate or family oriented, or maybe a story or something that you want to share that you think about when we come here.
Definitely just being able to see family. It's a little difficult with a blended and a separated family, being able to see all the sides and different groups that you want to when we're here, especially because we're here for a week maximum, and then we've got to get back to where we're at now. But I love being able to spend time with our grandparents. They're some of the most important people in our lives as far as who have shaped us to be who and what we are and what we want to be in our lives. And so just being able to spend quality time with them means definitely the world to me. It's the most important thing. And hanging out with mom is really great. She's a lot of fun. And I think it's equally as fun for her to be able to see us, since we're not around as much as we used to be when, we lived here, obviously. So definitely seeing family is the most important part. And some of the routine things, that you're used to at home make it hard logistically, but it's also just good to shake it up a little bit and remind yourself why we're all doing what we're doing, and to get here for the right reasons and see family is my favorite part.
What's one of the things that you have a passion for that you're hoping that this business can provide for you, or at least give you the opportunity to do? Maybe talk about a passion that you have, and just, don't go too deep, but just kind of overview some of the things I know that you like.
Yeah, we're a really small family in comparison to literally any other family I've ever met. I think there's like 5 of the main guys here, especially on mom's side. And so one of the biggest things I think that gives me excitement about running our own business is the ability to control our time and our financial freedom. And that's kind of the goal we have, I think, both for ourselves and for each other, is to be able to get up and go when we want to. And having our own business has allowed us to do that, which is amazing, especially just starting out. But being able to afford to come back and forth and make your own schedule when you need to say, hey, for example, this Friday, I'm going to take off, and I've got other people to do everything else I was going to do on Friday, to make sure that we have the time to go hang out with family and get to enjoy that. So I definitely think going on this journey together has made it really rewarding for us to do it, not only together, but to be able to do what we want to financially and time wise. And that's a huge success in my book. So definitely something I've been passionate about, especially from working in a lot of the jobs I've had before. You don't get the opportunity to move around as much, or maybe you weren't making as much before, and it's expensive to travel. It's a luxury. So when your people are far away from you, you've got to, figure out a way to make it happen. And I think we're doing a good job of that.
With your clients right now in Amazon, you're facing a lot of challenges, and you take results very personally. When you look at the results that are being displayed to you right now, what keeps you going? Where do you look for answers? How might you know, internalize some of this the wrong way? But what do you think is the best way to kind of take the position that you're in now and some of the tough stuff that you're going through, and put a good light on that for us?
Yeah, I'll start with a little bit of a backstory. So the main reason I decided to join the business with you, Justin, is because I make a fantastic employee for others, terrible for myself, because no matter what I'm doing, I treat the business or the client like it's my own. And so I think that's the biggest reason I realized I had to start working for myself or working for us, is because I'm going to give it 110. Every positive is going to feel like a win personally. Every negative is going to feel like a loss personally. And so that's why, we're really good at what we do. But for me, that's what makes it really tough and really personal, like you mentioned. So right now we're gearing up for Q4. and the competition is higher than ever on Amazon, to get organic and search paid exposure. And so when you see the difficulties, when you see how much more expensive it was than last year and how difficult it is to get things optimized, I lose sleep over it in a good way. I mean, I'm not actually losing sleep, but it does make me stressed, and it gives me more, of a time pressure to perform better and to perform quickly. And so really how I manage it is just pulling in all the resources I can. I think it's really important to be humble in those situations and realize that you don't know it all. And hopefully in a situation, if you're stuck, you've got someone around you that can teach you a little bit more. And so the best thing is to look inside, but then also to look around you and realize, you are where you are because of somebody, you've put in your path that has been a good influence, or it can be a voice of reasoning or a soundboard. And so I definitely reach out to anyone around me, when I need some more help, or I even look for new team members to maybe invite into the team. So that's something I'm doing now, to see, what else we can do and just kind of push things forward. But at the end of the day, I get really narrowed and focused in, and I do whatever it takes to make it work.
What are a few opportunities that are sitting in front of you right now that have you excited about continuing on?
Right now, for the first time, I'm getting pretty serious about finding a PPC expert. I think advertising is the necessary evil, especially when it comes to e-commerce and a platform like Amazon. And you can never be too good at it. We've been really lucky and fortunate to be able to be where we're at right now, with me working on the ads kind of solo here, but I'm ready to expand and to give, continue to give top-notch service and have somebody in that can be part of our team that only looks at the advertising. So when we look at all the levers we can pull that one really hard, and have somebody else in the room to kind of bounce ideas off of. That'll also give me probably some more free time to take on another client or another endeavor. And so that's something I'm really looking forward to. One, because of the new opportunity, but two, because of the time saving. So that's something I'm excited to gear up for.
The last one here, in that process of bringing on an ad expert, you're going to have to evaluate if that person really is an expert. Mm-hmm. What are some tough questions that you are going to ask, but more importantly, a listener can take and turn around and ask their expert that they're looking to add into their team, to kind of see if they got the sauce or not?
I think that's a great question, actually. I've been looking into how to conduct better interviews, and something I've realized is trending right now, if possible, especially if you're looking for a 1099er or something like that, get them on board and have them work with you for a week or so. See if you can kind of test the waters, or, give them a 30-day trial period and kind of make sure they understand it's to make sure that there's a good fit for you and a good fit for the potential candidate. I think it's important to learn workflow. It's important to see skill sets, and anybody can kind of maneuver their way around a good conversation. But the only way you're going to know what the performance will look like is to get them in there and get them tested. And that's something we weren't able to do at the previous agency I worked at. And I really wish we would have done this a little bit more. We also tried to figure out, what kind of questions we could ask to really put the pressure on. But even after asking, some of the really tough things, it still felt like a lot of the employees that we hired weren't a great fit. And so they would leave, within the first couple of months. And that can be really difficult, especially when you're excited to fill a role. So I think this time around, I'm going to get someone in after, the initial questions you usually ask, and then try to get them to work on some things and see how they go about issues that they might find, see how creative they are, see how proactive they are, and see if the relationship seems to be a good fit for both.
Great. Well, we have reached our time for the day. I really appreciate all those who tuned in, had a lot of good information, some good back and forth, and looking forward to meeting with you guys next week. And enjoy. We'll see you guys 7 days from now.
Thanks, guys. Happy Pumpkin Show.
See ya.